Okay, and if all goes well here, we should have everybody back on Twitch and stuff.
Is Twitch online?
Yeah, I hope so. I think so. Trying to check it out right now.
I'm going there now. It says offline, but
well, it says we're online, but I'm trying to look at the
phone.
channel. All right.
Come on.
Yeah, we seem to be back on.
I can say something, but I can't hear anything.
You can't hear anything? You can't hear you?
What the hell?
I can't hear me. I can't hear Jeff. I can only hear you because you're in the room with me.
Oh. Well, that's really weird. I can hear you.
They can hear me, apparently. Everybody else can hear me.
Yeah,
but
check your headphone plug. Make sure it's okay.
it's plugged in.
Maybe it's messed up over here.
Oh, now I hear it.
I think we need all new cables in here.
Now it's going in and out.
Can you hear it now?
Nope. Well, no one's talking. Now I can hear it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think
there we go.
I think we need all new cables and stuff. Colleen's mic cable is cutting out, and
I
think we've just after 8 years or so we
know where to get cables now.
Worn all this stuff out. Oh my gosh.
You can get them at mono price, and they'll deliver them the next day.
I guess so. That was very fast. Anyway, hi everybody.
Welcome.
Yikes. So, Docking B94, never a dull moment.
Well, I think it's dull when we're not on the air.
When we're actually not on the air, right? So.
Okay, why is this not working? Okay, well, anyway.
I don't know.
Yeah, I can't see Twitch right now. It's getting screwy, but
well, we seem to be there, and I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if it's like rebroadcasting to all the other things too.
I don't know.
So we're just going with it. We're just rolling with it.
Yeah.
And we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But my gosh, I am really sorry about that. It's
the hell?
It's just been a weird. It's been a weird week.
Oh, I think it's finally got it.
Every week is like 100 years.
I know, right? It's just isn't this going on forever?
Yeah, I saw a meme that said, February had 29 days, March had 300 days, and April will have 500 years. So
yeah, totally feels like it. Totally feels like it. Ugh. And it's we're being good kids.
I think we're on Facebook. We're on
everything.
We're on
we're on everything. Yeah. But not for lack of messing it up.
Right.
Man,
never a dull moment, I tells you. Anyway, well, we had Jeff on video for a while, but the Krypton people couldn't hear. So, all right, that's my goal for next week, I guess, is make sure that the Krypton works. I just assumed that because we could hear you through everything else, that it was fine.
Oh, I know. It should, but
yeah, I mean,
well, we'll try it again next week.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Yes.
As they say.
Yes.
But making a note, fix
everything.
Mix. mix with 3 X's.
As long as it rhymes.
Right. Fix, mix, nix, fix.
Right.
Such much.
So, guys, what'd you do in the last week? I mean, we all, on Saturday night, we did a pub quiz.
We did. Yeah. We
it
won.
Was so much fun.
We won the pub quiz. We were awesome.
We
that was
rocked that quiz so hard.
Yeah, and some of those guesses, man, we used some serious logic to figure those out.
Sean was our superstar in that.
Only in that I was able to sway you guys to my
yeah, but you were right every
my thinking.
Time.
My thinking.
I mean, we got 100%.
We did.
We missed something.
No, we missed one. What did we miss?
I wrote it down. Wait, do I still have the papers here?
And it was pub quiz style, so it was all over the map. We had science, we had math, we had geography.
We missed 2 questions.
Oh.
One of them, Sean said the answer was Commodore 64.
Oh,
when
and
the
it was
answer was really Commodore 20.
VIC 20.
The VIC 20.
Yeah.
Nobody
But
remembers it.
wasn't the oh no, that was the clue, was that it was that guy's first computer.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
I don't know what this question was, but we thought the answer was 3 and it was actually 2. And it was a geography quiz.
Oh, it was how many countries begin with Z.
Oh,
And
right.
it's because like Zaire or something is no longer a country.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
It
bad at
changed
holding
its
things up.
name, and because
Oh,
we
man.
came up with like Zimbabwe and something else.
But we ended up with a total of 103 points. And I
Zanzibar
think the
Barbarians.
next closest team was like 79.
No, you forgot to double us because the final all or nothing. We bet 103
Oh, right.
for the last
So
question.
we got 206.
We got 206. We
Yeah.
smoked them, baby.
Right.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. We had fun though. Was
Yeah.
the point, and we were taking it so seriously that we bet all our points. We're like, if we lose, we lose. We don't care.
Well, it wasn't like we were playing for money or,
Right.
or, like we couldn't carry the points over for the next week or
Right.
anything like that.
We weren't getting drinks comped or anything, so it wasn't like
Right.
for
Well,
our,
I
even
imagine-
for our bar tab.
I imagine that our team, none of whom drinks. Oh, except Cheryl. Maybe Cheryl drinks.
Maybe. I
Yeah,
don't know.
Depends
but
on what it is.
Right.
yeah, the rest of us I don't think drink. So it would,
All depends on
alcohol
what
would
it
not
is.
impair us.
Yeah, it was really funny. But yeah, so that was good. We spent like what 2.5, 3 hours doing that.
Yeah.
Killed
was fun.
killed a little time, and
It was fun.
Zoom. We did that on Zoom.
We did that on Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it worked out
And
pretty
we
well.
were not Zoom bombed.
No.
And then
No.
other things that we did that Sean and I did, I don't know what Jeff did, but I did a birthday party for my mom. I went to a jewelry class, which was really more of just sitting around chatting. A sewing circle, a movie night where we watched Austin Land and commented on it, and then Sean did a toy unboxing.
I did. Yeah, we
So
did another
We had a
Sunday
ton of
afternoon. I
online
seem to be
things.
doing toy unboxings now.
Yeah.
Yay.
Or at least weird demonstrations of things. just gonna bring things out of this room and demonstrate them. I'm like, here's this weird thing I've got. Because weird things do accumulate over time.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Especially here.
I've been in that
Yes.
room.
Yeah. Well,
And lived to tell the tale.
well, and so one half of it is getting tidier.
Jeff, you would not even believe how clean this room is
Yeah.
comparatively.
Yeah, the shelves
Oh, dear.
behind me have all been gone through, and I've
Again?
tossed a lot of stuff out, and I've
But you
dusted
can
them
see
off.
behind
and,
him
Yeah.
that it's like there's still a ton of stuff on the shelves,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
tidy.
Well, and I
As opposed
have to
to
do.
it's normal.
There's like
Right.
these shelves that I'm going through over here, and then these shelves over here. If I can get the camera over there, it's like by the board. I like hung some model kits and did some stuff like that. So
Okay.
it's kind of interesting stuff, but baby steps. I should have been working on it the past couple days, and I didn't.
It's been really hard
Yeah.
with the I've been exhausted a lot. I don't know if we talked about this last week, but the amount of stuff that I'm doing has not decreased. It is probably about the same, and then you add in all the stress from just worrying, and I'm exhausted all the time.
Yeah.
Well, I
So-
think that's the new normal.
Yeah.
Is
No,
To
the
just be
quarantine
exhausted
thing,
all
you
the
get
time.
freaked out. Yeah.
Yeah. Wildcard 9 won his pub quiz. He was talking on Docking Bay or
Oh.
on Good Morning Tatooine that he was going to go do the pub quiz, and he had a couple answers nobody else had come up with,
Oh, nice.
which was pretty cool. It's
Nice.
like it's a small accomplishment, but it feels good, right?
It does. It feels
It's like
really good.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
and you don't have to rub anybody's nose in it, but you just feel good. You're like,
Yeah.
we got it.
This is true.
Yep.
It's funny.
So, the only other thing I did was we played a Harry Potter game. It was like the Battle for Hogwarts or something.
Was it like a board game?
It's a mix It's not really. It's more of a card game.
Oh,
like
okay.
like Magic the Gathering or something. But you do use a board and stuff, and so you don't really move pieces around, but there are pieces that you put places and stuff. So it's kind of a mix, but more of card.
Well, that sounds fun.
That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, it was fun.
The movie night that we did of the movie Austin Land, we did it with the program cast, and I mistakenly thought I had to set it to public, and so basically anybody was able to come in, and someone came in to our room and to our party room and started swearing at us and saying that we were horrible people who just like to sit around and say mean things about movies.
Yeah, it was
and
weird.
We were like, delete, kick out,
right, block,
make private. And yeah, that's why we're here.
One person seemed kind of okay.
I felt really bad about that person.
Yeah, and one of our other members was played the bad guy in that case. But somebody kind of came in and went, "Oh, this is interesting."
I didn't mean to sound accusatory when I asked who it was. I just wasn't sure if it was still somebody,
belligerent.
Belligerent.
Yeah.
So, I feel bad because it wouldn't have been a problem, and they probably were like in a bad mood after that. Because I would be if I went to go watch a movie and everybody was like, "This is private, get out."
Well, we didn't want to be mean.
Yeah.
I would have just said that you were the satellite of love, and that was all you needed to say.
I don't think they would have known what that meant.
I don't know what that means.
Even better.
So just randomly say things that I don't know what they
Mystery
mean.
Science Theater 3000. It's the satellite of love, which the main characters were all up there stuck, and they were forced to watch movies.
Yeah.
So, which is essentially what we were doing. We're forced to be at home alone, and we're watching movies.
But I've decided that I've hit my my maximum of things that I can do for my club by setting up 2 events every week virtually.
Oh man.
They're just they're repeating, and it should be easier from now on because all I have to do is hit start now. I don't have to, and I know how to explain to people how to get into the programs now, whereas when you aren't expecting what they're going to be asking, like, why can't I find X? And you're like, hang on, let me find it real quick, and then I'll tell you how you can find it. So hopefully it'll be easier. But like for right now, I'm maxed out on events I can host.
Well, and honestly, I just think the new normal is wiped out. Period.
Yeah, I think so.
Just all the time.
Are you guys at home? Are you guys all like exhausted, or are you just like, no, I'm bored? Or whatever.
Well, but even boredom can be tiring.
It's
if
true.
you have too much boredom,
Yeah.
and I'm honestly in like hibernation mode. I get up, I do the morning show, and then I want to go right back to bed. And when I try to sleep, I don't
Sean
sleep.
comes to bed at like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I went to bed at 1 last night, and I fell asleep at 4:30. Because I could not sleep.
Yeah. It's very terrible because I wake up at 4 or 4:30. So I actually wake up between 3 and 4 and can't get back to sleep after that. So
man.
It's
man, I hate when I get up at 4:30 and can't go back to sleep. Oh,
it's the worst.
I do that every day.
Well, you get up at 4:30 and you go to work, but they don't want you to be asleep.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a very fine line. They pay you to not be asleep.
Yeah. And then I come home and I'm like dead on my feet. And so I'm normally tired. And the quarantine thing is just adding to that. So that's fun.
Yeah. Oh, it's terrible.
That's really funny.
All right, so that's the week that was.
I know. I remember when we used to talk like 20 minutes about all the cool stuff we did, and there's
I could
nothing
talk
now
for 20
that we're
minutes
doing.
on trying to get my mom to understand Google Hangouts.
No.
And then after the
No.
call, my mom, I think she lasted in her birthday party for about 30 minutes. And then she's like, okay, bye, love you all, and hangs up. And then my brother was talking to me, and he's like, well, you should have done that on Zoom because the sound quality on this is really bad. And I'm like, did you really want to try and talk mom through getting on Zoom with how difficult it was? I don't think you know how hard it was to be able to get her on Google Hangouts, and that is a button that you push.
Right.
So I was like, that would be a little bit much.
Oh my gosh. Just crazy.
Jeff, why don't you hit us with some Star Wars history?
Woohoo! Okay. Boy, did that old one get at it? Hey, look at, I think it is there. Okay, so our first one is that in April 4th, 1976, the Anchorhead scenes with Luke and Biggs on Tatooine were shot and essentially taken out of the film later on, but left out of the movie for Star Wars Episode 4.
This is a day for deleted scenes, apparently.
Yeah, what's the deal? Yeah, but the thing is, though, and the reason I want another thing about this was that, and Sean knows about this too. So, this is when I saw the film in the theater originally, 5 years old, whatever, and
5 years old.
Yeah, whatever.
You're so young.
I was yeah, I know. I distinctly remember Luke with the macros or whatever, looking up at the sky and seeing the little lights of the battle in the sky.
Yes.
Like little twinkly lights in the sky. And then and I'm told later on, no, that never showed up. And then later on I see the restored footage of that part of the scene, and I'm like,
that's what I saw. Yeah. Well,
they're all no, that never. I'm like, yeah, it did.
Right, because I remember seeing the Biggs and Luke scenes at the Chinese, and then a couple weeks later they weren't there. But Lucasfilm insists that never happened. It never got released, and that we're having like a sort of like residual communal hallucination where we read the storybooks and there were a couple of pictures in it, or we watched some behind the scenes special on CBS or something, and we saw that in the background and we remember seeing it from there, and our brains have just inserted it in the film where it ought to go. But I was 10 when I saw the movie at the Chinese. I really remember seeing that, but Lucasfilm insists it never made it out, and maybe that's true. But the thing that leads to me wondering about it is they had so many different versions of the movie that did make it out, like before George even started doing special edition kind of stuff. But if you watched it in 70 millimeter Dolby, you saw a slightly different movie than you saw in 35 millimeter, because like some different cuts were used, different sounds were there in stereo that weren't there in the mono edition. They were all like slightly different, and so it wouldn't surprise me if, like, for the first week George kind of went, wow, we've got this dashing Biggs guy. I think we need to take him out and just get right to the meat of the story and like cut that subplot. But
this could be.
We'll never know. Without a time machine, we're never gonna know. But I would so go back in time and buy a ticket in '77 to go see Star Wars at the Chinese again. That would be amazing.
Yeah, totally.
And
totally,
I'd probably throw jujubes at my 10-year-old self. So.
I remember getting hit in the back of the head with jujubes.
I don't understand. Yeah, that would be weird. You like, what was it? Looper had that kind of thing where whatever you did in the past affected you in the future, and so you would like throw a jujube at a kid's head, and in your future self would go, "Ow!" That'd be really funny.
Exactly.
But like you, I remember this.
Yeah, I don't remember, although I don't remember anything with Biggs at all, but I clearly remember the battle going on in the sky.
And the Treadwell droid.
I don't know. Maybe.
Well, he was in that whole scene, so yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I definitely remember him looking up and having the macro binoculars in his hands.
Right.
So I'm like, where the hell's that scene? Oh, look, there it is.
There it is.
Yeah.
Funny.
Our second bit of history is on April 9th, so 5 days later, is when they shot the original Jabba scene with different actor.
Right. What was his name? Declan Mulholland or something.
Yeah, it's where'd it go?
Something very Irish.
It's yes, you're exactly right, Tickle and Mulholland. And the thing that I find interesting about this is that because they didn't use that scene, as far as I can tell, they clearly just said, let's just use some of the dialogue and have Greedo say it. And so when they did the special editions, they put the scene back in.
Right.
So they're saying it a second time. I'm like, what? No, stop.
Right. There was overlap. Well, and then because he was originally going to be a humanoid style alien, because they didn't use him, later on Jabba could become a slug.
Yeah.
Because there's sort of no way you could have gone from a humanoid alien to a slug thing without explaining that as some sort of, well, he went in this chrysalis and he came out a slug. It's like, what? That's immaterial.
Exactly.
That has nothing to do with the plot.
Yeah, I'm like, what? So, yeah, just found that kind of weird that they did that. Like, we're not going to bother to, change the dialogue of like, whenever you drop the shipment of the first sign of an imperial,
right?
They both say the same thing. I'm like, anyway.
Well, but we got to hear Jabba say, Mabuki.
Yes.
Han Mabuki.
I never understood in the special edition version, they had had Han go around behind him, right?
Yes.
And they had him step up onto his tail or his backside and go back down. I'm like,
yes.
I'm like, wouldn't Han have just been able to just step over it? But they had him step and it looks all weird.
I think it was a joke that fell flat. It was like, he's clearly disrespecting Jabba more than usual. Yeah. And so walking behind him and knowing that there's this big slug-like tail, instead of having him step over it, is having him step up and down on it.
Yeah.
Was a little funky.
I don't know. Maybe they did that because they did the switcheroo with the blasters for, Greedo and him. So
right.
Where just have him step on him.
Where he like moves to the left quickly. He's like he like dodges an inch. That was awkward too. Remember, kids, special doesn't necessarily mean better. That's what the special editions taught us.
Yeah. It's just bizarre.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. April 3rd, 1978 is when Star Wars won about six Oscars.
3 or 4.
Yeah. Art directions, sound, original score editing, custom designs, visual effects, special achievement for sound effect editing. Yeah.
Well,
so they got a bunch
all
of
very well
really.
deserved. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it was Douglas Trumbull's birthday this past week, and
yes,
he's best known for like 2001. He worked on Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and in a way, we have him to thank for Industrial Light and Magic, because he was too busy to do it, so his assistant went over, and John Dykstra, and set up ILM to work on Star Wars while he kept working on Close Encounters. Nice. And it's not that Doug Trumbull isn't like super talented and skilled. I think Dykstra was better suited for the job. So super cool.
Okay, and we have one last Star Wars history of April 9th, 1984. That, Richard Edlund, Ken Ralston, Dennis Muir, and Phil Tippett got a Special Achievement Award for Best Visual Effects for Return of the Jedi at the Oscars.
Nice.
So, yay!
Yeah, it's the part of the problem with having sort of advanced special effects that far is that after a while, everybody else kind of picks up on it, and so Star Wars didn't, and ILM didn't have a corner on the market anymore, and especially now with computers, everybody can do this stuff at home. So
nowadays, geez,
it's really changed quite a bit. So I remember the old days back when they used to win all sorts of Oscars. We're kind of flickering in and out over here on Twitch. I'm really sorry.
Oh, dear.
So we paid
Weird.
to upgrade our internet to 2400s, or upload should be 20. and our download should be 400, and it's not helping us at all. We didn't gain. They gave us like more bandwidth or something, I guess, but we're not really gaining speed. So we're currently at like 1.5 upload, which is really low. That's like, honestly, approaching dial-up speed. It's really terrible. Yeah. So sorry if we're cutting in and out on either Krypton or on Twitch, because I've got Twitch open in the corner and I watch it go gray as we drop out. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got 200 download and 1.3 upload. That's like the best it's been all day for me.
Yeah, see, I mean, it's just awful. And there we go, we're gray again.
Is it just like you said before though, because like the large number of people online in your area kind of thing? Or?
I think so. I think it is, because we have so many people who are working from home that I think everything's just bogged down. And we're not in an area where we can get like fiber optic. I guess we could go cellular hotspot, maybe. I don't know if that would make anything any better. But yeah, just brutal. So I don't know how to fix this problem in the short term. When everybody goes back to work, and I'm sure things will be okay. For sure. But it's I throwing more money at the problem did not seem to help us.
Oh dear.
So scratch that one off the list, and we'll figure it out.
Alrighty, so moving on, meet the Jedi Knights and Masters of the High Republic.
Cool.
Know about that? No. Did we do our homework? No.
I didn't.
We already told you we're
one.
tired.
I didn't see that one either.
I'm trying to load it now.
But hey, by golly, I see there's people on here.
There's people.
Let me see here. Avar Chris is one of them. And then we've got Loden Greatstorm.
What is he, a hobbit?
Trennis. Well, you would think. No, he's looks like he's a Twi'lek. Keeve Trennis, Stellan Glos. I think that's an L. No, Geos. Maybe it's Geos. Maybe it's an I. I can't tell.
So this is really quickly, just to bring anybody up to date that doesn't know what we're talking about. Star Wars: The High Republic is publishing epic set 200 years before the events of Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. Yeah. So it's a story that's coming out this fall, and they're going to span all of the different publishing places they can. So it'll have adult and young adult novels, children's books, and comics from a variety of publishers. So now if you could talk about people that are in it, our listeners who didn't know, we'll have more.
And since it's only 200 years, then it's obviously after the Old Republic, if they even still want to use the Old Republic.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, these are like the names I was listing were the Jedi that they had pictures of here. So Avar Chris, and she's a human. Each has a little paragraph underneath, so I'm just going off the names because there's a paragraph for everybody.
Yeah, there's like a painting and a paragraph that describes who the person is.
Yeah, and it's concept art, and it's like okay, it really is sort of like Star Wars crossed with Lord of the Rings to me.
Yeah.
They're going a little fancier with the Jedi garb.
The pictures kind of make me feel like they're romance novels.
Yeah, a little bit. And so somebody said that they were very excited for an Art Deco Jedi, but I don't really see one in here that strikes me as Art Deco. Maybe Art Nouveau a little bit, but like we've got one character who's Keeve Trennis, who looks human, and she's like super trendy, shaved head and long hair, and I'm like, I think I knew that kid as a punk in high school when I was like going to high school,
Well, like all of them are basically human, except one has green skin and one's a
Twi'lek.
They're all human.
Yeah.
They're all basically human, but like one of them's whatever, whatever
Stellan
last name
Gios
is,
looks like he's I am the hero.
Right.
All I can think of, I see the name Vern. All I can think of.
Well, and Stellan,
Mr. Slinky Dog.
Right. Stellan Gios has like the medieval style guard on his lightsaber. He's got like this cross-guarded thing, not like Kylo Ren with little saber things.
His cell phone keeper is empty.
But that's where his lightsaber goes.
Oh.
But it looks like a cell phone holster, but that's probably where his lightsaber goes because he's got that weird cross guard.
Right.
And so he's got like a sword hanger. And so it's...
Wouldn't that be on the other side?
Not if he cross draws.
Okay.
So it depends. The art's interesting. I don't feel excited about it.
No.
Yeah.
And
well, it doesn't. This must be like you're saying, this is concept art because it sure doesn't look finished.
No, it's quick and dirty. It's quick and dirty.
Yeah.
And the first one you mentioned, Avar Chris, sort of the human female with her, she's got like some sort of elven circlet around her head. Her lightsaber looks very much like Galaxy's Edge. It looks like one of the build-your-own sabers from Savi's.
Wow. Mark Hamill sent out a thanks to the fans in a letter that I was looking at the article and I'm trying to tell. Oh, he posted it on Twitter.
Yeah.
That's his social media of choice.
Yeah. But it was, it was a good page and it was very sweet.
Well, you know what that letter is? That letter came with the full edition of the Skywalker Saga DVD that got released. So they released the 9-movie set in one big box with another 9 discs of special features, and you got a special book that came with that. And because it was the Skywalker
Saga,
Saga,
didn't write this.
He wrote it.
Oh.
But it was mass distributed with this. You got it when you bought it. And that's why there's a little like copyright Lucasfilm at the bottom, and it's got like an item number in the corner, because this was a mass produced thing that came with it. And it's got Star Wars ghosted in the background, and it's a nice letter about his experiences working on Star Wars and what it is now. And it's pretty cool. Kit posted a link to the letter. Go check it out, because it's nice that since they've wrapped the Skywalker Saga, they went to Luke Skywalker and had him write basically the intro to the 9-movie set.
Well, that's nice.
And so it was kind of cool. So it's he posted a picture of the letter that came with it, but like a foreword to a book. I'm sure he wrote it.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right. So moving on to theme parks. Mark 80 is coming to DCA. Is that the monorail?
Huh? No. That's the Iron Man suit.
It's the Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
Why Mark 80, I wonder?
I have no idea.
I mean, I guess they just needed a high number in the thing. I mean, it's a new suit we've never seen before, so that's fine, I guess. But 80 seems like we had hit Mark 42, I guess, in the last movie. He must just like every minor change. He's like, it's a new one.
Yeah.
It's like that would be like me. Every time I make a tweak to my car, upping the number on my car. I'll be like, I added a new stereo. It's number 12. That's pretty funny.
Disney parks honor medical workers around the world because today is World Health Day. Actually, day before yesterday. Tuesday. Was World Health Day. And so at all of their parks, they did something to honor healthcare workers, but it's mostly people couldn't see it, so they're having to share it in pictures. So at Shanghai Disney, the Enchanted Storybook Castle lit up with the words "thank you" in numerous languages. Hong Kong Disneyland, they had one of the cast members share something, and then in France they had "merci" in flowers in front of their castle, and at So, like, I'm totally fine reading this. I'm, like, not emotional at all. They have a picture of Disneyland at night with nobody there except 2 Disneyland police officer people dressed like police officers with signs that say thank
Magic
you.
Kingdom. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And, I'm sorry, Jeff, you're right. It's in Florida. And it just, like, choked me all up. DCA has "thank you" written in flower petals on the cement.
Yeah.
In a couple different places.
That's cool.
And in a couple different languages.
I haven't found the one for Disneyland yet, but
Well, that was DCA, and then down at Disney stores in New York City, they had a big sign that said "We're grateful for you."
Yeah.
And then a bunch of the resorts have things. There's nothing for Disneyland itself.
What the heck?
I'm sure there was something, but they probably couldn't put everything in. And they have 3 photos of Disney California Adventure. So that's their Disneyland resort entry. They didn't do all of the parks at Disney World either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry I got all choked up there for a minute.
Oh, that's okay. The one of them at Aulani says mahalo in flower petals. That's pretty cool. And Walt Disney Imagineering had some name badges cut that say thank you on them, which are really cool. And Disney has a thing now that's like an online Imagineering course.
Yeah, I'm surprised none of us thought to put it in here.
we didn't put it in there. But now the only problem with that, and it's great because it like teaches you to think like an Imagineer, which is fun. Because they're like, you have lots of free time, so let's do that. The biggest drawback to this, no job placement if you do the course. Because, I mean, honestly,
what the heck?
I want job placement.
Yeah.
Colleen pointed this out, and this sort of ties into what this is that Disney, just as a company, be it the theme parks or whatever else that are doing, I got something from the Disney Movie Club and whatnot. They've been sending like little things just to go, hey, we know things suck, but here's something interesting, and it's been nice because they haven't been like blatant ads going, don't forget about us because we want you to spend your money here.
Right. But they shared the recipe for
Dole Whip
and for the churros.
Yeah, and things like that. And so that's really super cool.
When you go back, a lot of the places, like I saw it in articles first where they were saying, oh my gosh, Disney shared the recipe for the churros. And the article didn't say this, but I got an email from Disney that said, hey, we know things are hard right now. Here is something that we want to share with you that you can do at home to bring a little Disney magic into your life. Right. So
fairy dust, you said they were calling it.
Yeah, they were calling it fairy dust. And it's funny because when I first opened the email, I'm like, ooh, Disney's sending me fairy dust. They must have some sort of an app where you put your photo in and it becomes all sparkly. And so I skimmed through the whole newsletter thing looking, and I'm like, there's no sparkle thing. And they're like, oh, everything they're giving us is fairy dust.
Fairy dust.
Got it. And so on that note, I actually have a quiz this week that's a Disneyland food quiz because of the churro and the Dole Whip recipes.
Cool.
So I don't know if you want to jump on that right after the top of the hour, or we want to hold on that.
We can wait because we want to finish out the Disney category here, I think, or the theme parks that we're at.
Disneyland or Disney parks are trying to decide on ways to make sure that people are healthy for when the parks reopen. And one of the suggestions was temperature screenings for everyone who enters the park.
Okay.
And I can imagine that's going to be...
well, because, it's not like security isn't slow enough.
Yeah.
It is.
That'd be just grand, wouldn't it?
Right. So I'm going to walk in with my breath mask that they usually give me grief over, and they're going to take my temperature, and I'm like, so they should stop giving me grief over the breath mask.
To figure out the best way to take the temperature, because they can't stick something in your ear.
No, but they have thermometer scanners that you can use. That are non-contact thermometers.
Like you walk under it.
Yeah, or it's like a handheld thing, and they can just like scan you and get a body temperature off of you. Wow. Which is interesting. So we'll see
how that's going to work out.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. But anyway, it was Bob Iger's idea, I guess, and he's doing it. I'll jump in here because we didn't get to do this at the top of the show because technical difficulties. You're listening to Docking Bay 94 on Krypton Radio. I am Sean Crosby.
This is Jeff Solodataho.
I'm Colleen Kaylee Crosby.
And as always, we're here Thursday nights, usually with less issues. Listening to us on KryptonRadio.com. If you want to see us, you can go to twitch.tv/docking_bay_94. It's up on my personal Facebook page until I figure out how to put it on the Docking Bay 94 Facebook page. And also it's on YouTube at the Docking Bay 94 YouTube page. So we're expanding in all sorts of weird ways. Whether it's good or bad, I have no idea, but we can, so we are. Kit Sovine is the person who is posting all of the cool links in our Twitch thread or over at facebook.com/DockingBay94 Radio Show. And so if you see those links, be appreciative of her because she's digging all that stuff up. Before we leave the theme park category, we had one thing that's not in our list that I got a note that said Universal Studios theme parks were now extending their closure to May 25th. So originally they were thinking that things were going to open in April 19th. We were all pretty sure that was not going to happen. Mm-hmm. Now it's Memorial Day weekend. May 25th is the real Star Wars Day. It's the day Star Wars premiered in 1977. And we have canceled our Rancho Cucamonga Library event, the event that takes over the entire community, and the local mall is involved, and thousands of people come. We have canceled that in favor of doing something that is virtual. So we may post stuff up and story readings and things like that on their page or something. We're still figuring it out. So, and everybody's doing this. Everybody's going virtual. Yuri's Night, which is this coming weekend, it's a worldwide celebration to celebrate space, and it's usually a fundraiser. And they canceled their event, of course, and they have gone completely virtual. And they would do events all around the world. Every single one of them is closed down for obvious reasons, and they're trying to figure out how to move their panel of lectures and entertainment and guest speakers and things like that online. And usually this is a big, giant party environment. Like when they do it by us, they do it at the California Science Center. It's underneath the Shuttle Endeavor, and there's a bar, and there's dancing, and it's a gala kind of event. And bringing things online is like really reining this in and making it much more serious, I think. And much. It's always been kind of educational, but the education was tempered with entertainment, and I think it's going to be a little less so this time around. So we'll have to see. But anyway, you can go to yurisnight.net, I think, and they'll give you information on where they're going to be. and it could be fun. We'll see how it goes. But like every convention and every other big event going on, they've gone online.
Yeah.
Huh.
So we'll have to see how that goes.
Alrighty. We've got a trailer, and the trailer is for it's like a Danish movie called Valhalla, and
Danish.
it appears to have been released in 2019, but is going into worldwide release maybe. I cannot tell.
Yeah, it's like a wider release.
Oh,
as far as
no, it's not going into wide release. It's going on to DVD.
See, that's what that's for. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was really hard to find, by the way.
Yeah,
I imagine.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's funky.
It's a weird. It's a period piece. So, and it looks interesting. I don't know if I'm actually gonna ever end up seeing that darn thing because, unless they shows up on Netflix or something. But,
well, and I couldn't find any streaming platforms that were showing it. That doesn't mean that they won't. It's just that at this time, I couldn't find it, and I also could not find the release date for it at all.
Yeah.
Other than it came out sometime in 2019.
Yeah.
So.
And it's the name itself basically tells you what it is.
Yeah, and it's subtitled, so it's also not in English.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sean?
We had a few people pass away. Thomas L. Miller, who was a producer of the television series Family Matters and Full House, and things like Happy Days and Perfect Strangers and Mork and Mindy and Laverne and Shirley and Step by Step and on and on and on, died at the age of 79. And they're just doing a quiet thing, and as near as I can tell, not coronavirus related, which is a distinction we have to make now, because we're watching people who are it's either like natural causes or it's coronavirus related, which is nuts. We lost a Ewok warrior, Malcolm Dixon passed away, and he was the Ewok in the film that had like this skull headpiece and a leather cowl. He was a dark furred one, and he was in Time Bandits, Willow, Labyrinth, The Dark Crystal, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory as an Oompa Loompa. He had a long career in little person parts. And Mort Drucker just today passed away at the age of 91. If you ever read Mad Magazine, you loved his work. He was the caricature king. He was the guy who could sit there and draw a movie parody and nail every single actor. He got it done so well, and he just did it forever. He started for Mad Magazine in 1956 and worked for them for 6 decades. Talk about a career. In 2000, he did an interview with the New York Times. He says, I think I've drawn almost everybody in Hollywood. But, and some of the most fun parts about his work was all the stuff in the background, little jokes and gags and things that he would throw in. And on the Mad Magazine page, the picture that they showed of him at the drawing board, is a whole bunch of characters behind him, but on his drawing board, he's doing episode 1. And he's got caricatures of like Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor and whatnot. And just super, super talented guy. So, most of us grew up with Mad Magazine in one way or another. So very sad to hear of his passing. And on my Facebook, I've been seeing a whole bunch of people who were influenced by him. Just, people who just sell art at conventions, just normal people, to some of the guys who have been really huge in illustration and art, and talking about how influenced they were by him and his simplicity of line and how he got his gag across without pounding you in the head with it, just real subtle stuff. So neat to be able to look back on his career. And of course, that he's passed at the age of 91.
So I mentioned before that we do have a Disneyland food quiz, but before we get to the food quiz, we have a question for the room. And that is, and you guys can just be thinking about it, and we'll come back to it after the quiz. But the question is, who is your favorite television detective? And it doesn't have to be like someone who on TV plays a detective, but it's the person who goes around solving all the crimes.
Who solves crimes, right?
So it could be like Columbo or someone like that.
Castle, who was a writer.
What's her name from the Murder Village, but in America?
Any of that kind of stuff.
Angela Lansbury.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So be thinking
Village.
about that. That's Murder Village.
Yes.
And in the meantime, we've got a Disneyland food quiz. Are we having quiz music?
Oh, no. We could have quiz music.
Okay.
Here.
Waiting for it to play.
Sorry, I just, with all the technical issues, I'm like, it's working, don't touch it. Let's take a quiz.
No, it also kind of a whiz. That one.
Let's take a quiz. Let's all take a quiz. Oh, yeah. All right, there's quiz music.
Okay, this is the Disneyland food quiz, and it's basically the most iconic foods found at Disneyland. And these are all things that are sold at Disneyland, so not necessarily California Adventure or the other parks, but a lot of the other parks will have the same stuff.
I'm set to fail, so here we go.
All right.
You mean just because it's a quiz, or because you're not good at Disneyland food?
There's an awful lot of food there. I don't know how it's going to work out for me.
Okay, well, they're out there questions anyway, so I'm not going to say where can you find X food at Disneyland. But I am going to say, where did the churro get its name? And it's okay to say.
I have no idea. It's
you got me there.
So the story goes that the name for the pastry was supposedly inspired by the ridged horns of the Spanish churra sheep, an aesthetic which the fried treat takes after.
okay.
So apparently Spanish shepherds made churros, and when people said, "What are these?" they said, "We made sheep's horns," and then they ate them. I just realized that this whole quiz might be too hard, so.
Yeah, totally nailed that. Oh, no.
Yeah, these are all really hard. Number 2, what was sold at the Tiki Room before the Dole Whip was introduced in 1986?
Well, other than just pineapple spears.
That was one of them. There were 2 items that were sold. It was pineapple spears and...
Poi.
Oh, God, I hope it wasn't poi.
No, it was a beverage.
Pineapple juice.
Pineapple juice. Jeff
juice.
gets
Yes.
2 points.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep track this time.
Yeah.
Okay, so hang on.
You wouldn't want Disney poi? Come on. Oh, boy. Let's have poi.
Sean.
It'd be great.
0.
Colleen's writing scores down. Sean, 0.
Question 3. What is in a real mint julep? Like the alcoholic
in a real
kind.
mint julep?
Uh-huh.
Oh, God.
It's not
Well,
rum.
I'm going to guess something like cream de menthe might be in it, but I could be wrong.
You are wrong, Jeff.
No.
Just to let you know, the actual mint
real
juleps are clear.
Yeah.
They're not, they don't, and they come from Kentucky.
Oh, so there's
Right.
gin?
Tennessee. Kentucky, Tennessee,
which
that
is
area.
bourbon area.
Is it bourbon
It
and
has
gin or something?
bourbon. And what else?
Gin.
No, just give me one other item that would be in a mint julep.
Mint.
Yay, bourbon and mint.
There we go. Yay.
Sean gets 2, Jeff gets 1. 4. Mickey bars are a popular treat. Who invented the first ice cream bar? And if you come up with the name of the company that the guy, like the type of ice cream bar, I'll accept that.
Okay. Good humor.
Bing, bing, bing. Sean gets a point.
Okay, cool.
I like ice cream.
Yes. It, confectioner Harry Burt created a chocolate coating compatible with ice cream. Not compatible.
I want a compatible chocolate covering.
But if you use your ice cream bar in combat, you might lose some of it.
Yes. Well, no, I just want to be dipped in chocolate that works like armor.
Oh.
Would be awesome.
Compatible with ice cream in 1920 in Youngstown, Ohio, where he began selling them as Good Humor bars. Where did the Monte Cristo sandwich get its name?
Spain.
Remember, it's okay to say you don't know.
Yeah, but it's more fun to guess something stupid.
Oh, okay.
It came from the Count.
Is that your answer?
Of Monte Cristo.
Exactly.
Blah.
Is that your answer?
Well, I said Spain. So.
Jeff, what's your answer?
No idea. I always
Jeff
called the Monte
wins.
Crisco. See?
Nobody knows.
Yes.
Wow.
But historians generally agree that the dish comes from California, not Spain.
I still think that's pretty crappy.
Question 6.
I work hard on my ignorance.
And I'll work on making these questions easier next time. I'm sorry. How many beignets does Café du Monde in New Orleans sell every day? And this is an estimate that somebody came up with.
So 2 million.
Fewer.
I don't know what that meant.
Fewer. Okay.
Jeff, how many do you think?
Jesus.
Not that many.
What? No, I'm gonna say like 2,200.
Okay, so Jeff said 2,200 and Sean said 2 million. The answer is 30,000.
30,000
Jesus
per day.
Christ.
So I think Jeff gets a half a point because he was closer.
Okay.
7. The Matterhorn, this one's just way too hard, so I'm going to give you an easier one. The Matterhorn macaroon is one of my favorite Disney treats.
Yes.
I'll tell you what the question was, and then what was in my head when I wrote these?
I don't know.
On July 14th, 1865, a 7-member team of climbers made the first recorded ascent to the top of the Matterhorn using ropes woven out of manila hemp, but only 3 of them lived to tell about it. When was the first woman recorded as ascending? The men went up in 1865.
First woman recorded as ascending. Yes. 1882.
Jeff, what do you say?
Wait a minute.
The men went up in 1865.
Oh, you want the year?
Yeah.
The year.
What year did the first woman ascend the Matterhorn?
Yeah.
Okay. And men went up in when?
1865.
Okay.
And only 3 of them lived.
That's because the other ones ate them.
I don't know. We'll say 1870. Why not?
Jeff wins. It's 1871. On July 22nd.
Wow.
Wow.
Question 8.
That's our anniversary, in case you guys want to know why she mentioned that date.
Yeah.
1871?
Yes.
We've been married since
old.
1871.
Damn.
Just since the quarantine, we've realized that we've been married that long.
That's right. We're in the on the sarcophagus year for our wedding.
Gross.
People have to get a sarcophagi.
Where did funnel cakes originate?
Oh man, Coney Island.
It is not Coney Island.
Damn.
It is somewhere in the United States,
Pennsylvania Dutch area.
Sean wins. Pennsylvania Dutch.
Damn it. I have no idea. Never would have guessed it.
And that was in the first ever recipe resembling a funnel cake showed up in a German cookbook in 1879. But the Pennsylvania Dutch German immigrants brought it came up with it. Approximately 70% of popcorn sold in America is eaten in the home, but Disneyland makes theirs in bulk. When was the first popcorn machine made?
First popcorn machine.
These are rather tricky.
I'm sorry.
1890.
Sean is very close.
And
I should have said where, because that's what I actually meant. But, But I'll give you guys the year and see. I think Sean will get this if you can figure out where. It made its debut in 1893.
Oh.
In Chicago.
It's like a World's Fair?
Yeah.
Jeff gets it. So Sean gets the year and Jeff gets the place. It was at the Columbia in the 1893 World's Fair in Chicago.
Well, you had to have something to eat when you were being lured to the scary murder castle.
Your death, yeah. If you want a corn dog at Disneyland, head over to the Little Red Wagon on Main Street. Was the Little Red Wagon a part of Disneyland on opening day?
Yes.
Jeff, what do you say?
I'll say yes. I don't know. So I'll say yes.
You're both wrong. The Red Wagon Inn restaurant, which is now the Plaza Inn, was in the park from 1955 to 1965, and the Little Red Wagon itself didn't open until 1995.
Ah, crap.
Yeah.
If you want a corn dog.
I should have known. I worked there before that. God.
Well, and there are still restaurants you say you've never eaten at.
Jeff, you won.
Wow, how'd that happen?
Yeah, you got 6.5 and Sean got 5.
Woo! 6.5.
Good job.
We sound like earthquakes.
Yes.
Jeff was a 6.5 on the Richter scale.
It's been a while since I made a quiz. I forgot how to write them. So next week's will be better.
Well, you were just cocky after our recent pub quiz win.
Right.
Well, that's what it was.
Yes, that is exactly it. So I'm wondering if anybody over on Twitch has come up with their favorite detective yet.
I saw some discussion, but I had to reload because our Twitch feed is so crummy.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm getting back there. Here we go. Sherlock Holmes.
Don't say anybody.
Eric, you tell us which version of Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
And then Lord Silverhand says Veronica Mars.
She was good.
And points out that the writer lady from the murder town was Jessica Fletcher of Cabot Cove.
Of Cabot Cove, yeah.
Yes.
Purple Lady 1969 says Holmes, which... Oh, I see. That's your favorite. There's not a TV show called Holmes, though.
Well,
it's Holmes
there was Holmes and Yo-Yo, which
Oh.
were about a police detective and a robot.
And then Lord Silverhand says Sean Spencer is a close runner-up.
Yeah, he's a good one.
And that was the one.
Really?
That was who
Wow.
Kit came up with right away. That was her
Right.
first. She was like, "Oh no, Sean Spencer, hands down."
From Psych, yeah.
From Psych.
Oh, wow.
Which is followed by someone saying Pineapple Spears.
Yeah.
How appropriate is that?
That's appropriate.
Yeah. So, let's see. Favorite detective. Poppy-Wan Kenobi says the original Magnum, and Purple Lady 1969 says the Benedict Cumberbatch Holmes.
Can I just say that it's sad that we need to say the original Magnum PI?
Yeah.
That's just wrong.
I would like to say that Purple Lady 1969 is Team Colleen in her description of Holmes as being the Benedict Cumberbatch Holmes and not actually saying his name.
Right. Well, considering the show was called Sherlock.
Right. And then Eric Gertz says Benedict Cumberbatch Holmes, except for the last season. And Boba Kit says, what about Robert Downey Jr.?
As Holmes.
Well,
but that was not a TV show.
He was in the weird thing. Yeah, so this is very specifically the TV show. Your favorite TV detective.
And then let's see if anybody over on Facebook, and I can only go a couple of questions back in Facebook. For some reason, it won't let me see more than 4 responses. We've got Harry Dresden. Good one.
Well, that's a good one.
Well, he's up though.
But he's a detective.
I guess so.
He's a like a private eye as his job.
I guess that's true.
And then Alec Guinness in The Detective, which was that a TV show? I'm not familiar with it.
I don't know that one. Yeah, I don't know that one.
And someone else said, Mitchell Duncan says Monk.
Monk was good.
Monk's good.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, you guys, I can't go back any farther because for some reason, no matter what I do, it will not let me look at more than 4 comments because it is mean.
It is mean. What the what?
Yeah.
Maybe I have to play the video or something. I don't know.
The let's see. Batman is often billed as the world's greatest detective.
Oh, Kit, do you
The
choose
Dark Knight
Jessica
Detective.
Jones or do you choose Sean Spencer? Because she just said Jessica Jones.
Maybe she only chooses alliterative names.
Good,
Oh, maybe. I'm kind of torn because I love the show Bones.
Yes.
So one of the people on Bones, but I also love Miss Fisher. So I could do Miss Fisher from Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries.
Miss Fisher.
And I love Columbo.
Yeah.
So I think Sean and Jeff actually have the same.
That's a tough one because Columbo is so good. Was really good. But Jeff and I, probably.
Ed Perillo says Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo. Zoinks!
But I think Sean and Jeff have the same favorite detective.
I think we probably do. Go, Jeff.
Ellery Queen.
Yeah.
Ellery Queen, yep.
Ellery Queen had a TV show that lasted 1 season in his latest incarnation in the 1970s. There was one earlier, I think. There was an Ellery Queen show in the 50s. But the one with Jim Hutton is really awesome. And it's a proper whodunit. They give you, unlike Scooby-Doo, where they pull a fast one on you every week, if you pay attention to the show, you have actually been able to see, assuming they haven't edited something important out, you were able to see who done it. You can figure it out. Yeah. And they give you a chance to do that before Ellery gets the usual suspects together.
Yeah. Well, there's other groups that people didn't list that they could have, like the I don't remember his name, but from the police detective from Midsummer Murders.
Yeah.
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 Well, and oh my gosh,
somebody said Quincy,
like
and I didn't even get into Inspector Lewis.
You could do Quincy. You could do Rockford. Foil.
Foil. Oh my gosh,
Foil's
I love
War.
those.
Which one, Jeff?
The Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew.
And Nancy Drew, sure.
Mike Hammer.
There are so many.
Such a huge chunk.
Yeah.
Harry Fox.
Mannix. Was a big one.
Charlie's Angels.
Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
Ironsides.
Yeah.
I mean,
just crazy.
On and on and on and on. Yeah. There's
I don't think I can pick one.
Kojak. Who loves you, baby? Wait. No, wait. Who loves you, baby?
Matlock? I don't know.
Matlock, yeah. Barnaby Jones, did I say?
I don't know, probably.
Yeah, I mean, there were lots.
List.
Yeah, there's so many television detectives, and then you've got 77 Sunset Strip, and you got a bunch of things about detectives.
Oh, and there's the one that has Broadchurch that has Doctor Who.
Oh, right.
As a detective.
David Tennant as a detective. Which is cool. And what is it?
Hunter.
Rizzoli and Isles, is that
Rizzoli
one?
and Isles. Yeah.
There's so many.
All of the Miss Marple that show up on
right on PBS.
Yeah, on PBS.
There's Miss Marple and there's Poirot.
Yeah, someone else had said
Hercule Poirot.
Sergeant Al had said Poirot.
Yeah, I mean, so oh my gosh, hi Sergeant Al.
Yeah,
cool.
Yep.
Yeah, there's all sorts of neat people. Oh, Kolchak, but he was a reporter officially.
Yeah, but was he the person who was like a detective?
He was looking into supernatural mysteries.
Yeah.
I mean, because Bones is an anthropologist, archaeologist.
Forensic anthropologist. Yeah.
She's something. Yeah.
She's hot, is what she is. I'll tell you. Jeff, were you at the San Diego Comic-Con thing where we spent a morning fighting around a swimming pool for the local news channel in San Diego, like dark early in the morning? Were you there for that? So they got a whole bunch of us, and we went together, a whole bunch of cosplayers, and we would be there for the breaks when they went to commercial. They'd be interviewing somebody, and then they'd come over to us, and we'd just be beating the crud out of each other around this swimming pool on this upper deck of a hotel across the street from the thing. And I spent about 15 minutes trying to figure out who this one woman was, and it was.
Was she part of the melee?
No. She came in for an interview, and she was so out of character in her dress. It was Emily Deschanel from Bones, and it took me forever to recognize her, because she was wearing this like yellow and black. I've never seen a tighter dress in my life, and she like came for this interview, and I'm like, who is that? It was like, I know her, but I can't picture her. And it took me forever. I caught her profile or something. I'm like, oh, right. Because she just didn't look like her character or anything. Yeah. It was really bizarre. That was the same. It was the same morning that they had Daniel Radcliffe come up. We talked to him for a while too. It was a weird morning.
Murdoch Mysteries and Inspector Gadget.
Inspector Gadget. Well, I mean, then you got to start in with Hong Kong Phooey.
Well, we already heard from Scooby Doo.
Right, we heard from Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
And Charlie Chan and the Chan Clan.
I don't remember them.
They did a lot of Hanna-Barbera did a lot of takeoff little mystery shows of different things.
Well, and then there was Fonzie had a mystery show, as I recall, cartoon. Yeah. And what was there's one more that I'm thinking of. Something of that old time period that was just god awful. But there were so many shows about like 4 or 5 kids in a car rolling around solving mysteries.
Yeah, like Speedy Buggy and stuff like that.
Right. Does Supernatural count?
No, because they're
monster
not
hunters.
Solving mysteries.
Well, frequently
they're killing monsters.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like they don't just want to find out who done it. They want to kill somebody.
I mean, if you could probably do like the guy, Twin Peaks or X-Files if you're using FBI detectives, but
yeah, I guess Twin Peaks would count because they were trying to solve the murder of Laura Palmer.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, you guys ready to move on to speed round?
Sure.
Okay.
Sean,
Darkwing
why don't you
Duck.
Start.
Okay, let's see. Disney's got a new show coming out that I kind of wish I was a part of, which would be super, super fun. They have something called Prop Culture that's coming out May 1st on Disney+. And it's a look inside the Disney archives where they're going to pull out props from like 6 or 8 different movies that they're just going to kind of do a retrospective look at. And so there's a collector and a prop fan named Dan Lanigan who's hosting this thing. And they're going to look at costumes and props and things from Pirates of the Caribbean, Mary Poppins, Tron, The Nightmare Before Christmas, The Muppet Movie, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Chronicles of Narnia, and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And so it could be kind of interesting. And so there's Entertainment Weekly's got a thing on it, although they're really Entertainment Monthly now. But they've got some things from like Mary Poppins that they're showing, and they actually went down into the Pirates of the Caribbean ride to check some stuff out.
That's cool.
Which is kind of neat. And there's one picture up at the top here. I think I know one of the guys in this picture. They're standing around figures from Nightmare Before Christmas, and there's a guy on the right. I think I know him. It looks like Fawn Davis, which is he's a guy who does a lot of prop work and that sort of thing. So it could be an interesting show.
Jeff?
Yeah, that sounds pretty awesome. Apparently, and it's kind of vague in his description, not real vague, but that Rocket, the character of Rocket from
Rocket Raccoon,
Guardians of the Galaxy, is going to be playing a really big part in the future of the MCU, like the next batch of movies and whatnot.
So he's the next Iron Man?
Yeah.
He's going to show up in every subsequent film, stealing something.
He's the new Stan Lee.
Yeah. So he says he just says that James Gunn says that the Rocket is a big part of what's happening in the future, and it's a lot of stuff that he was like he's been setting up from the beginning. So it's Rocket's coming, his backstory is coming to a head, I guess, in a way.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess James Gunn had a Guardians of the Galaxy watch party that he did online. That's kind of cool.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I saw that. So pretty neat.
I did see episode 2 of Some Good News with John Krasinski, and
it was awesome.
It was really fun. I recommend watching it. The best part of it was that there was a little girl who had, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. They had sent in a note that she was sad. She was happy for his show because she was sad that she was supposed to go see Hamilton and she didn't get to because of the quarantine. And so while John Krasinski said, well, I hear that you saw Mary Poppins instead, and I happen to have Mary Poppins right here. And so Emily Blunt came in and was like, well, you don't want to see Hamilton anyway because that guy's just kind of a jerk. But she said it in a funny way. Mm-hmm. And then, what's his name? What's the Hamilton guy's name?
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
I'm the worst.
Who was in the new Mary Poppins?
Who was also in the new
Emily
Mary
Blunt.
with Emily? He shows up and then he starts singing a song from Hamilton to the little girl, the 9-year-old, because they're talking to her, and the 9-year-old is just like freaking out because she's like, "This is my favorite song." And then the rest of the cast, the original cast of Hamilton, also all came in from their digital locations and they sang the whole song for her.
How fun.
I totally recommend going to see this.
That's cool.
And it was really sweet and moving and fun.
Nice to have something good.
Yes.
Yeah, they got Zoom bombed.
Nice. Zoom bombed.
Well, because John Krasinski and Emily Blunt were pretending that they didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun.
Cool.
Sean?
So there is a guy on Instagram who is doing something called brand name films. And he's making movie posters for something that has never been. All of these things. And I'm going to let me see if I can show this to you real quick. No, that went away. Where did you go? Here we go. So he has come up with these movie posters using real stars and photographs of real stars, and does them for brand names of food and like cleaning products. And so Tom Hanks in a movie called Poppin' about Orville Redenbacher, and they made him look like Orville Redenbacher. They have The Rock done up as Mr. Clean, which is really cool. Brawny and the Brain, which is Henry Cavill and Anna Kendrick, and Brawny's the paper towel guy. Wendy's Pillsbury with Ryan Reynolds. Jake Gyllenhaal is the Energizer Bunny. It's really funny, and he just goes on and on and on. There's one for Cheetos and one for Lucky Charms, and it's just kind of super cool and funny, and worth your time to check him out. And the guy's pretty clever. So it's at Brand Name Movies.
Jeff?
Brand Name Films.
Boy. Okay. So mine is that, and I'm not sure who actually announced it, but that James Mangold, or Mangold, or how do I pronounce his name?
Mangold?
Is yeah, probably in a Thresher. He's still in negotiations right now for directing Indiana Jones #5, because Steven isn't going to be doing it, directing anyway. So, and there's not really much. It's just been like, it's been forever that he was announced that they were getting him to do it, and it's just been kind of dragging since, and not just because of the quarantine. It's just like, just on and on and on and on.
Well, it's because Harrison Ford was making a movie with a big CG dog.
Yeah.
So looking at James Mangold's credits, he produced Logan, Ford v Ferrari, Walk the Line. He directed, and he did Heavy. He's got a bunch of credits to his name, and the Wolverine he did, and 310 to Yuma, which was pretty good. So he's he's got some cred.
I think he can handle it.
I don't see a lot of action movies under his belt, but maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Steven is staying on as like producer and whatnot, but I don't know what George is in connection with this.
I don't know that
I
George.
don't know if he's completely stepped away or if he's still.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's just gonna like take over craft services. There's if you go look at the untitled Indiana Jones project, it's got Harrison Ford under the full cast and crew, and that's it. This is like Harrison Ford. George is credited for characters and story. So I don't know. Maybe he's got an idea. It'll be more aliens.
Oh no. Oh dear.
Well, what else do we have that hasn't been tackled yet? I mean,
I have something that I just added.
Still have
that
Noah's
I wanted
Ark
to talk about.
No, I meant in the Indiana Jones universe.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about.
What things has he gone for that we haven't seen yet?
Well, in the movies, he hasn't gone in the movies, that is, for Atlantis or Noah's Ark, like you said.
Right.
Well,
what other things? But
what the age of Indiana Jones right now? If you take Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones, and you say he's aged like it's been this many years since World War II, when he did Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What year would it be in Indiana Jones universe now?
Indiana Jones and the Curse of Disco.
Right.
Yeah, what the heck, man?
So actually, it would be like a blaxploitation film.
Oh, maybe. Quick, call Billy D.
Oh dear.
What else was really popular in the early 70s?
Well, I don't know.
Godfather.
Well, spy movies in the 60s. If we do the 60s, it was like mafia and
we said disco,
gangster,
so I thought it was 70s.
Gangster movies in the 70s.
Yeah.
Man,
that's interesting. Well, when we saw the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, what year was that supposed to be with the really old Indiana Jones, where he had like an eye patch and
it was
stuff.
like modern. It was
so it was like the
time.
1980s.
Then, yeah.
Okay, all right. So yeah, so he could go through the 70s.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd be interesting to see kind of a spy take maybe.
It would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Quest for the oxygen tent.
Oh, this must be our internet connection. I have a thing in our broadcaster that's got a little square in the bottom that's like having a little fit.
George Hall is supposed to be age 93.
1980.
In whatever year it is.
Right.
So if you figure out
okay.
I mean, he was age 8 to 10.
You'd have to do the 60s because Indy would be just way too old.
Yeah.
To get anything done,
yeah.
I think.
Well, the last movie was supposed to be like 1950 something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't it like 56 or
something?
So Harrison Ford, gosh, our internet is awfully slow.
Yeah, our internet is really bad. I don't even know if anybody's seeing us anymore because of it.
I don't know. Well, you can tell on Twitch we keep going gray like this, and then we come back.
Yeah.
We're just dropping out a lot. Harrison Ford is 77.
So how old was he supposed to be in Indiana Jones? In the Raiders of the Lost Ark, sorry.
His actual age, which is like 30 something.
Yeah.
Colleen's doing math now. I can't even get Twitch.
What do we say? 1944?
Load. What, Raiders?
Yeah.
36.
Okay.
Oh, so I thought it was. I didn't realize it was before World War II. Sorry.
No, Raiders was 1936.
The last movie, Crystal Skull, took place in 1957.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's about 1976.
So add 13 years to that or something, and or 12 years.
Yeah.
So I think it could be a disco film.
It could be.
It could be 69 or 70, but it's pretty far up
I
there.
can't wait for the inevitable shot when Indiana Jones walks out of a screening of Star Wars. I like that pilot guy. Give him another CG dog. That'll be great.
All right, are we moving on?
Sure.
Okay.
We are moving on to the subject that I want to bring up, which is that the Getty Museum sent out a tweet here in Los Angeles, sent out a tweet that said, "We challenge you to recreate a work of art with objects and people in your home. Choose your favorite artwork, find 3 things lying around your house, and recreate the artwork with those items." And people came up with some just really fabulous recreations. Like, I don't know the names of these paintings, but there's a painting of a nude woman with her arm artfully covering part of her breast, looking back over her shoulder, and someone has recreated it with their dog, who's the same shade of color as this woman, looking over its shoulder. It's really funny. But my very favorite one of these, I don't even know if it's on here, I just saw it today, was one who recreated an artist that I've gone to one of their, but I couldn't remember the artist's name when I was trying to look up this thing. So I typed in, who is the artist who uses a lot of gold? And it came up with Klimt, which was exactly who I was looking for.
Nice.
Yay, thank you, Google. So this woman recreated a Klimt painting using entirely food. It was all cookies and danishes.
Wow.
It was so cool.
Somebody recreated the dogs playing poker picture, which is pretty funny.
Awesome.
I'm just trying to see if I can find this one.
I'm seeing one Klimt thing, which is a portrait of people, but
well, I'm pretty sure this one just came out either today or yesterday.
Oh yeah.
And the museum put this, like the article that I linked to was from a couple days ago. but I'm just trying to remember who posted it in my feed.
Yeah, there's a guy who did a painting of a harlequin, and to get the pattern, he used Post-it notes
That's awesome.
stuck to him for the squares on the costume. Some of our friends did this on our Facebook feed.
Rebecca Scanlon
and her kids
and her family,
did this. Yeah, which was fun.
I encourage everyone to do this because it's super fun. But our internet is so slow that it's not actually loading pictures anymore.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah, I've got somebody did this.
This is awesome.
This picture of like old Rome Colosseum in the background, and it's ruins of old Rome.
That's so awesome.
And they have recreated it using like stuff laying around the house. So there's a ruined archway that's made out of like wine bottles and a spice bottle, like a salt bottle. And it's populated with people in the lower left-hand corner. So they've got Simpsons action figures in the corner.
Oh, yeah.
It's really kind of funny.
I think that the one that Rebecca Scanlon did, her son actually got an assignment from his teacher at school.
Oh, yeah?
That they had to do this. Because, I mean, what a great way to get kids to study art.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. But yeah, it's a kind of a neat project, and the Getty Museum out here in Los Angeles, if you've never been, they have two. One is called the Villa, and it looks like this old Roman villa, which is like super cool, and they have a lot of their really old art in there, Greek and Roman art, and their actual antiquities. And then there's the one that's in the Sepulveda Pass off the 405 freeway that in the, I think it was the Kelvinverse movies, was used as Starfleet. And they kept using the Getty Museum for the Starfleet location with Kirk and Bones, all these people running around. That was kind of neat. And they have a completely different subset of art up there, which is really cool.
Nice.
So it's totally worth the visit. Plus, you get great views of the Los Angeles Valley from up there.
Somebody recreated a Mondrian with Legos.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
What else would you? Man. What else would you do?
I love the Campbell soup cans and the Xanax boxes. That's that's hysterical.
That's pretty funny.
A lot of people dress their kids to look like Whistler's mother and things like that.
Right. There's one that's like a girl with a pearl earring that's pretty much just nailed it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like I think you just look like that normally.
Right.
Yeah. That's great.
It's kind of like those ones that people post photos of someone who matches the art that they went to go look at. Like they're standing in a museum next to a painting that looks like them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So.
That's pretty funny.
That's pretty cool. That is awesome.
It's fun. So listeners, by next week we want to see these photos that you've done.
That's right. it up.
Right.
Let's go.
Right. What next? Sean, do you have another thing to talk about?
Yeah, well there's a note here about the Animaniacs it's not really a reboot, but a continuation many years later. Like what, 30 years later? And so, of course, Yakko, Wacko, and Dot are back, which means Rob Paulson, Jess Harnell, and Tress MacNeille are back doing their original voices, which is really cool. Pinky and the Brain, Rob Paulson was Pinky, and Maurice LaMarche was the Brain, and they are back as well. What remains to be seen is that we are living in a kinder, gentler era, so I'm wondering if that's going to affect their storytelling or not. Because, you know, are you allowed to do things like Hello Nurse and stuff like that anymore?
I don't know.
I don't know either, so I guess we'll find out which direction they want to go. But Hulu is going to start streaming these things in fall of this year, so you got that to look forward to.
Nice. Jeff, you got anything else?
Cool. Well, yeah. except the link is different, but it's pretty much the same news. That the film, at least the first film, Artemis Fowl, is going to be released on Disney Plus instead of in theaters, much like they did with Onward.
Mm-hmm.
So that's they said they were actually planning to do a few others that they just didn't bother to mention what the heck those were. But there's a few others that are going to come. But the others that are not are like Black Widow's going to still go to the theater, and and there's like a couple others that are still going to the theaters that you would expect to see in theaters. So
cool.
Well, and that's a huge discussion right now too, where everybody is really having to decide what they're going to do with their movies, because who knows when we're going to get back into a theater, and how is this going to affect the Oscars? Because you have to exhibit a movie to have it be up for an Oscar. So it's got to be in the theater at least for a little while. So Frozen 2 is okay.
Well, they say
Onward
that
is
AMC's
okay.
might be shutting down, so maybe they should just take an empty AMC that has like a couple of popcorn sellers and just play it to empty houses.
exactly.
That would be terrible.
So you got it there.
I want to talk about what I'm going to be doing tomorrow night. And that is, I am going to be attending the virtual sing-along to the Hamilton cast recording that I'm doing.
Cool.
Because, Hamilton.
So they're all going to be in one spot, and then you're encouraged to sing along at home, or
they're not going to all be in one spot. Because that
well,
wouldn't
I mean,
be allowed.
no, but you know what I mean, like collected. So like they're going to be a screen of them, and then everybody else is.
That's my understanding. But I'm trying to get the article to load so that I can actually address that. But that was pretty much what I thought it was going to be. Anytime now, it will load, or it won't, because this page is insane.
Yeah.
But I just thought it would be super fun to sing along with Hamilton.
Yeah, it could be cool. I think, I don't know, we'll see. We'll have it on in the background at the very least. I'm glad to watch us singing it, though, because I don't think I'd feel confident enough
they might not actually have us in the background because this article is no longer here.
Oh. That's weird.
Oh, here it is. They've got it in this tiny little screen off in the corner, and it's a video.
Ah. Funky.
So it says the entire original Broadway cast of Hamilton has reunited virtually for a performance on John Krasinski's Some Good News. No, this is just...
That's the thing you talked about earlier.
Yeah. Boo.
Boo.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to the Hamilton sing-along, and this web page... Like, even if you don't count our problems, is a really horrible webpage. So I don't recommend going to see it. If we find that information, we'll post it on the DB94 page on Facebook.
Gotcha.
But that pretty much wraps it up for us. Sean, you want to bring us out?
No worries. If you have been listening to us on Krypton Radio, thank you very much. We appreciate that. Sorry for the faulty start at the beginning with Jeff and I did a test call. We got everything worked out. Everything was cool, and then it all fell apart. Yeah, it's weird. It's and I got to go pound on our cable company too, because this is just really unacceptable throughput here. But hopefully we'll get all these problems fixed by next time. If you've been over on twitch.tv/docking_bay_94, you've been looking at the chat. Bova Kit Sylvine has been posting all of our links, which has been terrific. She's been doing it over on Facebook at Docking Bay 94 Radio Show as well. Did you have something to add?
Yeah, the Hamilton sing-along has been canceled.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Boo. Canceled.
Ow.
And other than that, yeah, thanks for being here, either over on Twitch or here on Krypton Radio or on Facebook. if you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube or whatever. We will sort it all out. Until then, we hope you have a good week and stay safe and stay well. And we will look forward to seeing you guys later on. I'll be on the air tomorrow at 9 a.m. doing my last show for Good Morning Tatooine for the week. And then we will do this next week.
I'm Kaylee Crosby.
This is Jeff Sold on a Hole.
And I am Sean Sean Crosby. As always,
may the
Force be with you. Dun, 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 dun. And I'm going to drop Krypton here. Bye, guys. Click. Okay. And now it's just... Eric had mentioned that we should get a different modem, but I double-checked the modem with the cable company, made sure that it had proper throughput. It'll take up to, like, 900 megabits per second. And we're now up to 400 megabits per second, but we're not getting that through through the cable company. So our upload right now is 1.8 megabits per second, and we're supposed to get 20, and it's just awful. And then at like 3 in the morning, when nobody's online, I get full speed, and it's amazing, but. Everybody's just bogging everything down, I guess, from the neighborhood. I don't know how to fix it, and I don't know really what the cable company can do about it. But hopefully something happens. They beef up their system somehow, because it's just not cool. And like I said, we went from 10100 to 2400, and that didn't fix anything. It just means that we're still getting less than 10100. We're just, paying extra to to not get it. So, I don't know.
This is true. Oh boy.
We replaced our network cables from the computer to the router, and I have never had a cable. Every time we've ever done the show in the past, I've been doing it wirelessly to the wireless thing because it's been good speed. It's been fine.
Now you're hardlined in and it's not any better.
It's worse. Yeah, it's no better. So,
oh my gosh.
Totally sucks. Well, and I was really excited to get the video thing going.
See if I can figure this out.
So we'll sort that out for next week too.
Okay.
It'll be great. It's been really interesting to watch everybody kind of go through Disney withdrawal online. There's a bunch of Disneyland pages I belong to on Facebook, and everybody's like, I want to go. Everybody's freaking out.
So I found something like just before the show ended, so I couldn't really bring it up.
Uh-huh.
And we could wait a week, but it doesn't really make any sense because they just posted today.
Okay.
And it's Ahmed Best talking about why he thinks that there's sort of why he thinks that the newer Star Wars films have kind of lost a bit of direction.
No George Lucas?
Yes, no. Sort of. What his answer was, in his words, the lack of faith in the mythology is really the thing I find to be missing.
Or disturbing.
We don't talk about the Force anymore in the Star Wars movies. We're really about lineage and legacy, line and technology, but the thing that made Star Wars was the Force. Two sides, light and dark side, but we all believe in the Force, and that's what he, And to an extent, I'd say, yeah, to an extent, he's correct, but there was still talking about the Force in the movies, but not as
well. Actually,
much, I guess.
They expanded the Force in the movies a lot. Also left a lot to the audience to figure out when the Force was being used and things like that. And so, like there was a whole point in the last movie where Finn kept trying to talk to Rey and go, "Hey, I feel it too. I feel the Force too."
Yeah.
And he never got that conversation. They showed us him kind of doing it, and having his connection with the Force, and that was exhibited, but they didn't talk about it.
Exactly.
I don't know that he's really on the money for that. I think that these past three movies showed the Force a lot and in a variety of ways that we have never seen it before, especially in the last film where they were showing the connection that Rey and Kylo had to the point where they could sort of beam things back and forth to each other from the Force. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that happened like that, and Rey was so naturally in tuned with the Force that a lot of people got really upset with it. I think the biggest difficulty with the new trilogy is that people have lost sight that it's really meant for kids, and the connection of this trilogy to the previous trilogy is different. It treats the prequels and it treats the original trilogy as mythology. Wait, Luke Skywalker was real? That was all true? The Force is a real thing? We get that in the first movie with J.J. Abrams. And it basically takes the first 6 movies and makes them mythological in the universe, basically. Yeah. And I think that's a hard thing to swallow because it makes these 3 movies less connected to that. It makes it less, even though it's the Skywalker saga and they're all supposed to be intertwined, it makes these last 3 movies less intertwined, in my opinion. Because when you look at them and go, oh, yes, the mysterious legend Luke Skywalker, etc., and so forth, even by the time they connect with him, I think they've already set up that, they're looking at things in a different way, and the universe has moved on. They made that point in the movie Onward pretty well, where it's like everybody used to use magic, and then everybody moved on to technology. And magic got lost except for becoming the mythology of entertainment, like his Dungeons and Dragons game and things like that. I really feel that the first 6 Star Wars movies are treated in that same exact way by the last 3 movies. And I enjoyed them and they were fun, but there's so much fan service and so much reverence for those movies that I think it really does the story a disservice.
Yeah.
But that's me. That's off the top of my head. I don't want you to think I spend a lot of time sitting around thinking about this stuff.
Well, I know. I mean, I guess for me, for the sequel trilogy, I liked the sequel trilogy. They were fun, but, and I said this before, it's that they were just remakes. It was like it's the placeholder trilogy for me, but it's that they really were literally just remakes of the original, first 3.
They took the first 3 films and used them as a formula, as a template.
Yeah.
And that was a problem because if the first one, if Episode 7 had been the only one that was really copying the other ones, I totally cut that one a lot of slack because Disney had to go, look, guys, we can make an awesome Star Wars movie, and yay, isn't everybody happy? And this is just what you want. And that would have been fine, and then they should have moved off into other directions.
Yeah.
And but you can draw, and it's hard to do something that's fantasy based like this, and that is so well known and so revered. It's hard to do something new in that universe. But being able to draw lines from, this scene in Episode 8 equals this scene in Episode 5, and this scene, and and where you can I picture one of those like murder boards with the strings attached, like scene by scene, and everybody's like drawing strings to all of these things, because you can kind of do that, but I don't know that any movies that they made wouldn't invite the same comparison, but if it were less obvious, that would be good.
I remember somebody saying like that they felt that Empire Strikes Back was Star Wars, but it was also kind of like a long car chase, and then I'm watching Last Jedi, and my first thought is, wow, this is just one long car chase. And then
right,
I'm like, wait a minute, But
yeah, well, and that was the problem with episode 1 with the pod racing. It's like, oh my God, there's 3 laps. Why are there 3 laps?
Yeah. But I am, you know, I was fine with what they, I'm like, okay, you're gonna some throwback stuff to New Hope, okay, throwback stuff to Empire Strikes Back, okay, and third movie comes out, I'm like, okay, that's enough.
Right. Oh well, look,
it's way too far.
Right, we are now going back to Endor, and we are going back to the last Death Star that got blown up.
Yeah,
yeah, but again, people are so polarized now, and we are in very similar circuit now to when Star Wars first came out. We were having like gas shortages. The country wasn't doing that great. We'd had Vietnam, and we'd had Nixon and Ford and all of that kind of stuff. And so people wanted this big escapist great thing. And so it was perfect timing for something like Star Wars that people could just, grok. They could totally grab onto and make it theirs. And which is why so many adults as well as kids like completely grabbed onto this kids movie. And right now, like if they were starting to release episode 7, 8, and 9 right now, I feel like they would have been received in the way that the original trilogy was received, just because people need that kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to see if something rises out of that, like that, where we grab onto something new that comes out that, everybody's like, yeah, oh my gosh, this is amazing, in that same kind of way, just because we need the escape.
Yeah.
But we have so much more content now than we've ever had.
Yeah.
That, it could be anything. But what are people grabbing onto right now that's like the big thing while we're all sequestered? Tiger King.
Oh dear.
What the heck? Right?
I know. What's wrong with people?
Yeah, I don't know. and it's like, but in a lot of cases it's like a train wreck. It's like by the time you're a couple in, you're like, I don't want to watch this, and I hate myself for watching this, but I need to see how it ends. Colleen was, I haven't either. And Colleen and I were talking earlier and saying, okay, we need to go online and just read a synopsis so that we know what people are talking about, but we didn't have to watch it and feel bad that we wasted, precious life watching this awful show. But, people like to grab onto things. People like to feel part of something. And that goes with a lot of different shows and movies. Twin Peaks. People did it with Twilight. People did it with, Game of Thrones. And you like to be part of the phenomenon.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the next phenomenon's going to be. And I hope it's not Tiger King. Please make that go away quickly.
Dear Lord.
It's pretty funny stuff. We lost Colleen. She has given up. I suppose we ought to pack it in.
Yep. Good idea.
Before things get really terrible. I really appreciate everybody.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, our screen is like freezing and popping and doing terrible stuff. I think we just need to pack it in. All you diehards, man, who have been watching, struggling through this awful connection. We'll see how it goes, because this cannot stand. We have to find out what's going on with our connection. It's never been this bad.
Weird.
And I'm sure it's just the throughput and the fact that everybody in the neighborhood is streaming everything and doing their work from here, and because it's the upload. The download seems to be just fine. Even at 100, the download is fine, but the upload, we're getting 1/20th of what we should be getting, and that I'm gonna have to lodge a complaint. It's just not cool. And I called him last time. I told him, I said, look, man, every time this happens, it's just it happens on our show. and it's just makes Spectrum look really bad. And they're like, we can't have that. We can't make us look bad. I'm like, you're making you look bad. It's not us. We're not doing it on purpose.
Exactly.
But
it's all you guys. It's all you.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll base with Eric, who is on the same system here, and I double checked my modem. My modem is on their preferred list, and it's supposed to get up to 900, and so 400 is like half of what it's supposed to get, and it should be okay. And like I said, at 2 in the morning or 3 in the morning when no one else is on, I get 22 up and I get 420 down, and it's amazing. But, do it when people are awake and we're hosed. But that's okay. We'll see if we can have it fixed by next time. Make it a little easier on you guys. At the very least, I'll stop complaining about it, which will be good. And we'll get Jeff's audio and video fixed. I'm gonna figure out how to get Skype into Mix and see. I don't know if I may have to look into other software and stuff. Mix is free. It's open source, and I don't know. I used to complain about Sam Broadcaster, but if it can do some of this stuff in a better way, then that would be worth it. Maybe to pay him $125 or something, and see.
Yeah.
All right, but that's about it. We keep dropping out. I'm getting network errors over here. Bye, all you guys. Thanks for hanging. Yep. We appreciate it. Jeff, I will talk to you later.
Will do.
And have a great one.